I'll take the rich husband and the effortless life for myself. Having never truly engaged in romance, I managed to enter into married life at the age of 40. We lived together in a high-rise apartment, financially and mentally settled, thinking our lives were going perfectly. Then suddenly, my younger sister arrived and made the statement like that. I couldn't comprehend what was happening. "Are you listening, Sandra? I'm going to marry your husband, so please take care of the divorce papers for me." When I looked at my husband, he was smirking, not entirely displeased. So, this man never really cared about me, as long as he had money. Although I had felt it, I had pretended not to notice, and now I was disgusted with my own foolishness. However, I had not just been foolish. All right then. Do as you please from now on. Really? Well, then I won't hold back, I'll get him. At that moment, I was actually laughing inside. I knew that their future was doomed. I am Sandra Morgan. At 40, I am enjoying my single life. I moved out of a family home that included my parents and sister. We weren't wealthy growing up, but I adored my parents, who always put us children first, and I wanted to make them proud when I grew up. I was a very plain child through elementary, middle, and high school, with no particular hobbies or interest in romance. I devoted myself to studying, graduated from a good university, and managed to land a job at a major corporation, all to honor my parents. After graduating from university, I successfully found a job at a securities company as I had expected. Although my salary wasn't bad, I wanted to earn more on my own, so I left the company and taught myself stock investing. Now, as an investor, I'm living comfortably with the income I've made. My initial days as an investor were fraught with difficulties, but I viewed it all as experience and kept a positive attitude, trying over and over again. It took many years before I began to see results, but the seeds I had sown finally bore fruit, and I was able to fulfill my childhood dream of repaying my parents. Although I had achieved a successful and comfortable life living in a high-rise apartment, I began to feel a bit bored with my lifestyle. To alleviate this boredom, I decided to pick up a hobby other than studying for the first time. There are many hobbies to choose from. Sewing, cooking, sports, there's a world of options, but I chose baking. There wasn't a specific reason, except that there was a baking class nearby. I usually settled for delivery or dining out for dinner, so I doubted if I could manage baking. However, feeling somewhat suited for it after giving it a try, I decided to really get into baking. A few days later, I gathered my courage and went to the nearby baking class. So this is it. It's quite stylish for a class. I chose it because it was near my house, but it turned out to be quite popular, attended by a wide range of people from young children to the elderly. As someone who rarely interacted with people or engaged in conversations, I felt a bit out of place at first. Then, a part-time instructor approached me. "Is something the matter? Are you here to attend a class?" "Yes, it's my first time at a place like this and I don't know anything." "I see. There's no need to be so nervous. Come this way, please." The man was not particularly young, but he was kind and guided me inside. It had been a while since I had conversed with a man, so I was probably blushing at that time. I was impressed by the unexpectedly large classroom. There were several instructors standing, and I felt out of place. But then I noticed other women around my age and automatically felt a sense of familiarity, thinking I could make it here. The man's voice echoed through the crowded venue, managing the program via microphone. Unknowingly, I found myself naturally looking at him, just wanting to watch him. In this lecture, we were divided into groups, each with an instructor assigned to guide us. I ended up in a group with people of similar age and some young couples. We waited at the cooking station for our instructor to arrive. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan, and I'll be overseeing your group. Although I'm just a part-time instructor, I'll do my best, so please work with me. To my surprise, the instructor assigned to our group was the same man who had guided me earlier. Although he mentioned being a part-time instructor, it didn't matter to me. I was thrilled to receive guidance closely from someone I was already a bit interested in. Once the lecture started, he was busy managing multiple participants and couldn't come over to me immediately, but knowing he would eventually made it easier to concentrate on the task at hand. While some of the processes were challenging, I started to enjoy baking. Then he finally came to assist me. You seem to be having a good time. Do you enjoy baking? Well, yes, some parts are tough, but it's interesting. That's good. He said that with a smile, leaving me speechless. During a particularly difficult part, I asked for a demonstration, and he showed me without a hint of annoyance. His expression turned serious, and he skillfully performed the task. Watching his adept movements, I felt increasingly drawn to him. Thank you. I usually don't cook much. It's amazing what professionals can do. I still have a long way to go. Actually, today is my last day teaching here. I'm planning to hone my skills and open my own shop to become a full-fledged pastry chef. I was deeply impressed by his dreams as he shared them. Realizing that I was attracted to someone younger who was passionately pursuing their dreams, it dawned on me that the attraction was more than just platonic. Ryan, I believe you can achieve your dreams. I think you are someone who can truly dedicate oneself. Hearing that really motivates me. I'll do my best. If it's okay with you, Ryan, I'd like to help you. Here's my business card. Please contact me if you feel like it. After receiving the business card, he smiled slightly and returned to instruct others. I don't remember anything about the lecture after that. I was so focused on him that before I knew it, the lecture had ended. I left the classroom in a daze. Realizing that just being there today was a huge gain for me, I smiled all the way home. Ryan Gale, huh? It would be nice if he contacted me. The very next day, he did. Over the phone, he asked about what kind of work I did and how I could assist him. Not liking to hide things, I told him everything about how I came to be in this situation without holding anything back. Initially, he was hesitant, but he accepted, wanting to meet the expectations I had set for him. After that, we began to communicate more often, and on holidays, I would meet to personally learn pastry making, which quickly brought us closer. For someone like me who had never been in love, this was a fresh and intense experience. Holding hands, sharing laughs over trivial conversations, kissing and loving each other deeply were all filling my heart. About half a year later, we decided to get married. We both wanted to be closer to support each other more directly and witness each other's growth. Never had I imagined that a hobby I picked up randomly would lead me, who had nothing to do with falling in love, to such happiness as a woman. But anyhow, my life smoothly transitioned into a successful one. Ryan, I will continue to support you. And as your wife, I'll stand by you firmly. Leave it to me, Sandra. I will definitely fulfill my dreams. And you can rely on me whenever you need to. I'll always be by your side. My husband Ryan now lives with me in our high-rise apartment. For him, I leased a dedicated kitchen room and arranged for a pastry chef instructor through my business contacts, doing everything I could to support him. In the beginning, he would lock himself in the kitchen room all day making pastries or go to his one-on-one lessons passionately chasing his dreams, which made me feel my support was worthwhile. However, about 6 months after our marriage, I started noticing a change in him. I don't know where he learned about it, but after finding out that I was a major shareholder living off dividends, his spending became more extravagant, and he began to show up less frequently for his lessons. Disturbed by his behavior, I spoke to him sternly, not to lecture but to kick him into gear. "You've been quite sloppy lately, haven't you? You're also being reckless with money and skipping lessons, right?" The instructor even contacted me about it. Well, I can't help it with the money, can I? I need it to buy the right tools and stuff. And about the lessons, it's not a problem since I go when I want to. This pattern of rebuttal was becoming typical. I was starting to run out of patience with him. However, it seemed he hadn't given up on his dream of becoming a pastry chef, so I decided to watch over him with a warm heart. Our relationship became strained. As we continued living together, an unexpected visitor arrived. "Sandra? Do you recognize me?" "It's Tracy." "Let me in." The person on the intercom was my sister, Tracy. Honestly, we weren't close. I had always found it difficult to get along with her. My sister was the complete opposite of my plain self. She had always been charming and had a way with people. Her carelessness with men had been a concern since her student days, and I often saw our parents scolding her for it. My dislike wasn't just because of that, it was also uncomfortable how she treated me with disdain even though I am her family. I had no idea how she found out about my place. Unable to refuse her entry, I reluctantly let her into the room. "What brings you here so suddenly? You haven't even contacted me until now." "And who told you where I live?" "From Mom. I heard you got married, so I thought I'd come and meet your husband. That doesn't mean you can just show up all of a sudden, okay?" "Who's that? A friend of yours?" As my husband peeked out from the back of the room, Tracy's demeanor changed, eyeing him like prey. "Nice to meet you. I'm Tracy, her sister." "Wow, Sandra, your husband is really handsome." "Is he?" "Well, maybe he looks that way to you." "What a lovely sister." "Since you're here, I'll make you some pastries." While I felt irritated that my husband casually invited her in, my anxiety about my sister grew. She might cause problems with him too. But, being an adult, I hoped she would be more considerate. With these mixed feelings, I spent that day. Though just for a short time, I joined in the pastry making that day. Wanting to close the distance that had started to grow between my husband and me, I made pastries with him. From that day on, my sister began visiting our house frequently. Sometimes she would come by even when I was not home, just because my husband was there. He said he was teaching her pastry making, but I felt uneasy. "Isn't Tracy coming today?" I wanted to teach her a new pastry recipe. "I don't know." "It's nice that you're paying attention to Tracy, but what about yourself? The instructor says you're not focusing on your lessons." "I'm human, you know. Do you think I can think about making pastries every day?" Since Tracy's visits, I had felt my husband's decline deepening. I wanted to believe in him, so I didn't speak harshly, but I knew if he continued to slack off, I would have to confront him strongly. A few days later, my husband unusually went out for a lesson. Just as I was thinking that I would enjoy some peaceful time at home, the intercom rang. It must be Tracy. Knowing this deep down, I sighed deeply and reluctantly let my sister into the house. "So, what do you want today? Since Ryan isn't here, maybe you should go home. If you're just here for the pastries, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. You're so cold. Today, I came to see you, not Ryan. You need me? Okay, wait in the living room. I'll bring some coffee." She has something for me, not my husband? What could my sister, who has never shown any interest in me, possibly want? Making the coffee, I tried to think of what it could be but came up empty. Reluctantly, I decided to listen to what she had to say. So, what do you need from me? I'm busy, so make it quick. Yeah. So, you know Ryan is here, right? I've fallen in love with him. It seems he feels the same way about me. I'm really sorry, but could you divorce him? Her words were shocking. However, my heart wasn't stirred, and I continued the conversation calmly and methodically. Is that all? Fine by me. You two have agreed on this, right? I'll divorce him for you. I don't need any money such as property division. If the two of you are happy, then do as you please. I sipped my coffee, wetting my throat and taking a deep breath. I almost smirk, but I hold it back. Just when I was thinking of divorcing him, here comes an unexpected savior. I know he's been skipping lessons that he was going to attend. And he also says he can live off my wealth without contributing. Continuing this marriage would only turn him into a completely degenerate person, so my sister's proposal was quite appealing. Really? Are you serious? Yay! Thank you, Sandra. I know it'll be tough for you to move out, but don't worry, I'll help you. Huh? What do you mean? What's this about me having to move out of the apartment? This is Ryan's place, right? If you divorce, I'll be the one living here. You'll have to move out, right? Wow, I'm finally living the high life. I hope you find someone better too. Oh, so that's it. I realized that my husband must have been bragging as if he owned everything I had, charming my sister with the illusion. The love I had is gone, and now it's almost laughable. I even feel pity for my husband and sister. I see. Well, then I better get ready to move out quickly. I don't want to be a burden on you too. I'll write the divorce papers and send them later. I called a friend and managed to clear out the apartment in just 2 days, which made the movers amazed at the speed. The thought of the pathetic pair made me want to laugh, but I kept those feelings to myself. A few months later, I received calls from both my ex-husband and sister. I had a pretty good idea of what they wanted, but I called them back anyway. Hey, Sandra. A notice of rent arrears for the apartment just arrived. What's this about? There's no way I can pay this amount. Can't pay? But you married Ryan, right? Then ask him to pay. He's got plenty of money, doesn't he? I responded calmly to my sister, who was resentful. She continued to rage without calming down, pushing her anger onto me. He doesn't have any money. It was all a lie. Everything was a lie. This is just unbelievable. Oh, really? That's too bad. You were so happy about catching a big fish. But maybe it's partly your fault, Tracy. You believed everything Ryan said without really looking into him. If you had, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Honestly, I also hadn't looked deeply enough at my ex-husband, I thought self-deprecatingly. Shut up. What I see in Ryan is none of your business. Just pay for this apartment. Feeling a bit sorry for my ignorant sister, I decided to tell her everything. All right. I feel a bit sorry for you, Tracy, so I'll tell you everything. About the rent arrears, the high-rise apartment was actually rented by me, not Ryan. Did you think I moved into his place? Huh? This isn't the time for jokes or lies. It's neither a joke nor a lie. Just listen, okay? And about Ryan, did you hear anything? He's a top pastry chef, very popular, and he's focusing on management now, so he doesn't need to be at the store. I was amazed at how easily my ex-husband could lie, and I also sighed at my sister who was deceived by such lies. I didn't feel sorry for them, but I kept telling them the truth for their own sake. Well, it's obviously a lie. Ryan is not a top chef or anything. He's just a part-timer. Understand? You were probably deceived by his claims of being a major shareholder or successful in stock investments. Yeah, but you should know by now, Tracy. Ryan is just a part-timer without any savings. All that talk about stock investments, he claimed? I was the one doing that. You? No way. You couldn't possibly do that. Feeling stuck with her who wouldn't believe me, I switched the call to video and showed her my bank account balance and the lease agreement for the apartment. Watching her face pale over the screen felt very satisfying. Let me explain it so that even you, foolish Tracy, can understand. I'm the one renting that apartment. I left the lease in place because you said you two wanted to live there. But now the lease is in your names, so you two are responsible for paying. But that's... Ryan is just a part-timer. Not a chef, not anything. He was just living off my earnings. He can't do anything without someone supporting him. It's truly unfortunate, not the catch you thought he was. Hearing all the facts, my sister started crying over the phone. Seeing her like that didn't change how I felt. I prepared to end the call while she was still sobbing. I'm not free to chat all day, you know? I've said what I wanted to say. Like I said before, do as you please from now on. Bye. I doubt we'll ever speak or see each other again. After hanging up, I felt incredibly relieved. My ex-husband, who gave up chasing his dreams, and my selfish sister who only thinks of herself. Just the thought of no longer having to deal with these two naturally brought a smile to my face. Months later, I heard that the couple canceled the lease on the high-rise apartment. They managed to arrange to pay the back rent in installments. The results of the background check I ordered out of curiosity were quite entertaining. Ryan is now working as a day laborer doing physical jobs. If he had truly pursued the dream he talked about when we met, he might have been a successful pastry chef by now. Tracy is also working all hours, it seems. Their life has become tougher since getting married, and I hear they quarrel almost every day in their cheap apartment they rent together. A couple who cannot support and hold on to each other won't last long. It's not my place to say, but sooner or later, I think they'll divorce. As for me, I'm enjoying my single life. In fact, I'm quite done with marriage. I think I'm better off living alone. Trying to sync life's pace with someone else was nothing but a penance. I've continued with stock investments and even started a new business with yearly increasing profits. I tried different kinds of businesses, but what resonated with me the most was starting a vocational school. I established a pastry-making school, becoming a bridge for those chasing their dreams. It's a school that accepts anyone who truly wants to realize their dreams, regardless of their age or background. While pastry making did not become my hobby, I have grown to love pastries more than before by interacting with various sweets. Moving forward, I'll continue living life my way as a contented single person.